welcome back to part 2. Now, as I left off, I said that Alexander was going to win one last battle, and it was going to be against India, okay? So, Alexander took his armies and marched into, India. And India was not too happy, as you could guess, and they battled. And Alexander, he wasn't really feeling it this time, and he did win, but it was at a major cost, and well, his soldiers were all tired, and he wanted to continue going into India, maybe even reach the capital, which is not in New Delhi. I am wrong. It is in, I think, over here somewhere, right here. Anyways, sorry for my misaccurate information on my map that I made. Also, if you're wondering, I made this map of the world, and I was using it for my own history stuff, but then I was like, hey, I could just duplicate this, and hey, here's the Falklands, where my last war was, except extremely more tinier. I'm gonna show you around. This is Brazil, South America, my alternate timeline, the United States, got a little more of Mexico. Here's the, Mississippi River, that's cool. Here's the lakes, and over here's Alaska. I don't know, I think this is pretty cool. I'm gonna use this more times. Maybe I'm gonna redo the American Revolution. Also, comment below what you'd like for me to say, do next. Here's Greenland, Iceland, British Isles. I really did some of it so you wouldn't see the countries, but I was planning to destroy all of the color, because underneath that is grass, you see here, and dirt. I think this is pretty cool. Over here is Asia. I think this is pretty cool. Here's Japan, the Philippines. Here's Indonesia. Here's Australia. And I was planning to do it as a joke, but I decided, why not? I'll put in New Zealand, even though it's on no maps, basically. Anyways, back to world history. In the past, this is inaccurate, except for kind of this area. I changed it up. Here's Africa. As you can see, there's some red for British, and I was kind of lazy. I didn't want to change out India, so I just kept it red. But everything else, I changed it. This was originally the Ottoman Empire, where Egypt and all these places. But then I was like, I gotta change it. That's not right. So anyways, back to world history. Sorry for my little rant. Anyways, his soldiers, even though Alexander wanted to continue on, they said, nope, no, we're not going. We're tired. We want to go home. For the first time, Alexander was like, fine. And so he turned his army around. And the journey back was long and hard. And he was going, and over here's some rivers. I put rivers around the map, famous ones. Here's the Tigris and Euphrates River, and here's the Jordan River. He was visiting the city of Babylon, and then he got sick. He was 32 years old, and in that city, Alexander died. The city of Babylon. And over here was his homeland, and after he never got to see his homeland. And he wasn't even buried in his homeland. I'm pretty sure he was buried in Alexandria. A fun fact, he also named some other cities after his horses and generals and, like maybe his dog or cat. I don't know. Anyways, when asked who should rule the empire, Alexander said nothing. He said nothing. He was dead already. And without Alexander, the empire argued and it would not stay together. His generals then split the land between themselves, and the empire broke apart. But Alexander's story didn't end here. Greek ideas, language, and culture spread all across the known world. And cities like Alexandria became centers of learning. And Alexander never lost a battle. And a lot of people argue that he is the greatest general of all time. Among the likes of Napoleon, Hannibal, Kurt Barca, which I think we should do a video since this is more focusing on it. And maybe I should do the First Punic War. Here's Italy, and here would be where Carthage is. Yeah. And even though his empire never did not last, his name would be remembered forever. Now, the names of the empires that broke away, well, there was the Ptolemaic Kingdom in Egypt, and some of you may hear about that because Rome was actually friends with Cleopatra, and Cleopatra was descended from Ptolemy, who was one of the writers for, like the title of my last video, Alexander the Great, telling people how great the Great really was. And, so some people think that Cleopatra was black, and a lot of people say, no, she was, like, olive skin, descending from her, Bulgarian, Greek, ancestors. And, we know that they didn't intermarry with, other, like, people. Because Ptolemy decided, hey, you know that cool thing about pharaohs did back in the, before this era? They married each other. So I'm gonna marry my sister, and then that just continued. And, there was also the Seleucid Empire in Persia, around, here. There would also be the Antigonid Empire, which is basically Macedon, Greece. There's also the Lyanthian Kingdom, which was the Bulgarian Kingdom in Asia Minor, which is over here. And Epirus, and other minor kingdoms. And yeah. Greece would later colonize the southern part of Egypt, and the Phoenicians got their freedom again, and the Israelites and the Phoenicians, they went over and did stuff with Carthage, and then those two kind of became their own countries, and so began Rome, and basically the whole entire human history. Because I don't want to go on a rant here because I have a couple more seconds left. But because of that, Rome would gain power when they won a bunch of times, and then they took over all of Europe, broke apart because of how big they were. And that created a bunch of kingdoms, and those created more kingdoms and became more powerful, in which then they colonized, and then those colonies split off to make their own countries, and now we have the whole world. That's history summed up for you. This is Polish General. See ya later.